A very interesting week of politics. And so I'm bringing back for the third time our friend Jessica Craven. We are not going to talk about the Big Bang. We're not going to talk about God. We're going to talk about politics. So Jessica, you've obviously been following things. What is the highlight of the week for you this past week?
Oh, well, that's an interesting question. Hi, everybody. The highlight of the week for me, I mean, it's been a bad week in a lot of ways. We just lost a Capitol Police officer. I don't know if you've heard that yet, but we have had one fatality there. You know, we've had shootings. It's been that part of the week has been really challenging. We saw a terrible voter suppression law pass in Georgia, and we've got two in Texas and Arizona, equally terrible laws coming down the pike. I guess the silver lining that I have seen is that this week in my activism work, we have been strongly focused on contacting companies in Georgia who are based in that state, Delta, Coca-Cola, Home Depot, and chastising them for not doing more to stop these voter suppression bills before they were signed into law. And while it is too little too late, we have had both the CEOs of Delta and most recently Coca-Cola now coming out very strongly against these laws. And we just learned in the last half an hour that Major League Baseball is pulling the All-Star game. Is that what it's called? I'm not a sports person.
Yes. I predicted that. I'm glad to hear that.
So that's getting pulled out of Atlanta. And these things are important. And, you know, it is a shame that we have to involve our corporations in politics. But the truth of the matter is that right now, until we fix that, that is where our leverage lies. Republican legislators don't listen to their constituents anymore. They don't care what they want. That is not what they are doing in their jobs. But what they do care is what their donors want and the big corporations in their states want. So while we were not able to stop these Georgia laws, although there is some question, perhaps they'll get rescinded. I doubt it, but maybe. I am hoping is that these kinds of big corporate moves may stop the next ones, may stop the ones in Texas, may stop the ones in Arizona, may stop other states who are thinking of trying to pass laws like that.
You know, Jessica, by the way, that's great news. I had not heard about the All-Star game. I predicted a couple days ago that there's no way in the world that Major League Baseball would bless the state of Georgia with this very prestigious thing, the All-Star game. The All-Star game is where the best players from both leagues come together, and it's the National League versus the American League, and it takes place once a year in the middle of the season, usually around July, and it's actually a big deal. It's a big deal, right? I am also hoping that there will be teams, that one team will start it and that other teams will follow, where they'll say, we're not going to go play the Braves.
Yeah.
If the Braves want to play in our home, in our stadium, fine, but we are not going to spend one frickin' penny for hotels or anything in the state of Georgia to play the Atlanta Braves. Yeah. So, but here's the thing, and I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm so glad you brought it up. So you've got Coke, you've got Delta, you got Tim Cook and Apple came, and all these companies. But what is the mechanism by which you think this actually has a positive effect? I mean, it's a little tricky. The bill's already been passed and signed into law.
Yeah, well, right. And they should have spoken up before it was signed into law, because they're based in the state and they bring a lot of money to that state. They've got influence with the lawmakers there. The lawmakers only care about money. That is all they care about. So when a company like Coca-Cola or Delta starts making noise, they will listen. Notably, they really didn't make that much noise until after the bills had passed. So what?
Well, it came through. It was rushed through very quickly.
Very quickly. Oh, no question. But you know, I think both of those CEOs are now saying, yeah, I should have said more. We didn't think they'd really do it. Whatever. I mean, it is too little and too late. But again, what I'm hoping it will do is slow the passage of these bills in the next states. And I'm sure you're familiar with Judd Legume and the Popular Information newsletter. If you're not, you should be. But his work is all on the giant corporations who are funding the politicians who are passing these laws,
Right.
which is not only Coke and Delta in Georgia, but in Texas, we've got AT&T who's given over $500,000 in donations to Governor Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Patrick, and a bunch of the legislators who are passing these voter suppression laws. So when we start going to AT&T and saying, why are you giving money to these people? Do you support voter suppression? Then they will start pulling their donations, and that is meaningful. Is it? I mean, ultimately, no, this is not the way any of us want to do business, but it is right now the only leverage we have when corrupt politicians do not care about their voters and what their voters say. Believe me, we are also driving calls to legislators, but they don't care.
Right. So
they care about Donald Trump and those factions. I don't know why. That is what they care about.
Good morning, dear.
Oh, cut!
We have a lot to celebrate this week.
You have the right to remain tripping your balls off.
It's like Illuminati, but with leather.
First day at Fight Club, you must fight!
2020 refuses to concede.
I was going to have to return 2021 because I didn't like the 7-day trial. But I'm in now. We're in, sexy liberals.